You don't hear that at all?
No.
Okay.
Well, Duran, I gotta be I gotta be honest with you, man. Um, I know we need to do this episode. I am not particularly looking forward to reviewing this. Uh, Frankly, because I think it sucked. I think it sucked.
We really
Not the
talking about
series,
this? Are we really?
not the series. The series did not suck. I enjoyed the series. How they wrapped it up was, I mean, lackluster. Doesn't even do it justice.
Welcome back, New Block Nerds, to the podcast of disappointment. Just straight savage disappointment. There is normally we have a talk and like, yo, we're gonna care about this, talk about that. Nah, this is gonna be straight. I'm so sorry. Marvel, you have done it again. You have like really just made me run after the carrot for miles, and then I get there and it was a dud. It just was utterly ridiculous that we even are talking about this. This pod should be like 3 minutes and then get the hell off this thing. Go ahead, sir.
I. So, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. Yeah, I mean, this is I take no pleasure in the way that I feel right now, guys. I really don't. Look, here's my biggest gripe with it. We were pitched that this was going to be a crime spy thriller in the vein of like a Winter Soldier kind of thing, where we were going to see Nick Fury at his best doing all the espionage. And it ended with an incredibly lazy written power-up fight. It felt like, especially with like the last episode being 38 minutes, before I even hit play, I saw that it was only 38 minutes for the finale, and my wife was like, I feel like there's way more stuff that they need to wrap up that they can do in 38 minutes.
Oh, she's right. She is absolutely freaking right. I'm sorry my voice is a little loud right now. I'm just a little irritated, but go ahead.
It's okay. It's okay. It felt like a production that like ran out of money and they had to wrap it up. Like, that's how quickly I feel like they just like wrapped this show up. Like, also, the other thing that's really bothering me is Gaia God now.
Let's go back to the money thing at first. How do you feel about the timing of everything? Because this timing, first of all, this movie was done before the writer's strike, so we can't blame the writer's strike on this. This was already done. But the timing of the CEO come out and says that we need to take a step back because the whole quality over quantity type thing versus all that. How do you feel about that when I feel like a bunch of people who are not in love with comics are speaking on this?
So I have some thoughts.
Okay.
I have some thoughts about that. I think this is a clear case of capitalism getting in the way of artistic integrity. And here's what I mean by that. I'm not saying that shit to be cool or to sound cool. Here's what I mean by that. When the MCU was in its beginning stages, the first couple of phases, the first dozen or so movies, we were getting 2, maybe 3 movies per year, and they were high quality, right? Not all of them. Of course, there were some misses, of course. But capitalism says, okay, these movies are making $1 billion. Let's just flood the market with content. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter what character it is. Doesn't matter who's asking for a fucking She-Hulk TV show. Doesn't matter. Let's just do it. Yes, I brought up She-Hulk because here's the issue that the MCU is having. They're doing too much. They're trying to do too much, and there's not enough, seemingly, quality content for them to be putting out the quantity in what they're doing. But they're going to do it because capitalism says you got to make more money. And if these things are making us money, you need to do more of them. Who cares if they suck? Honestly, they could do without half of the projects that they have on their slate. Now, that's just a fan talking. Okay, I can't go in the boardroom and say this because they'll laugh me out of the room because money. I get it. I'm with you. You're running a business. You're not making these movies for fun. You're making them for money. I got you. But law of diminishing returns is a real thing. Okay, ask DC. All right. And while I'm not saying that like this is, the MCU is crumbling apart and they're not going to make it, that's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is they may start to see their numbers taper off and even dwindle a little bit, because before and after we had this pod about Ant-Man Quantumania, about is the MCU losing its luster.
And we said we
keep coming back. Why? Because they have a history of putting out great content. Doing all this extra content every other month, dropping something new, and it not being of the same quality, you're losing that benefit of the doubt. So, like, for me personally, I don't, after Secret Invasion, I don't give two shits about the Marvels.
Damn, that's a big stance.
I don't care. And especially now, Miss Marvel was good. Okay, WandaVision was good. So so your numbers might be okay because Photon and Miss Marvel are going to bring in some folks because those two shows that they appeared in were good. Captain Marvel wasn't well received. It might have made a lot of fucking money because it's the MCU movie and people are just grown accustomed to just going all the time because it's just something that we do now. But it wasn't well received.
So one would say that two of the best movies of the year were from the MCU. They would say Spider-Man and also Guardians of the Galaxy. So when you talk about money and everything else, they brought in a lot of money with those two films.
I'm with you, but those two franchises were part of the old regime.
No, I'm with you.
Vision.
So when you go in there and you try to say, hey, you're doing too much. Well, we just made this. So it's like, I feel that the TV shows, it's like one of those things where you and I have an idea about something. And you put the idea together. And I'm like, yo, this will work. This is what I want to do. Because I feel like the first two episodes were what the writers wanted to do. But then towards the end, well, yeah, you guys spend too much money. We got to cut back. And then they had to just scramble and make it through. Because there were so many unanswered questions in this. Mm-hmm. To go back to the original thing about, is she now, I guess, God tier? You got the entire Black Order, Thanos, Captain America. Now, is it Steve Rogers or Falcon? Don't know. The Marvels.
I'm assuming it's Steve.
Yeah, think about it. Just about it. You have all of them. Now, you're going to say it's bits and pieces of their blood, not the full blood, so not as fully as strong as they could be. But just Thanos alone and the Black Order, and you put them all in one person on top of everything else you had with Groot, and how you just dismantle the main villain for the entire 6 series, like in a matter of like moments. And
when it happened, I was looking at him on the ground. And I was like, "Oh, no way, he's dead."
Yeah,
because it happened too fast. It was just like,
it's almost as if they wanted to make her Superman, and it was like you just wanted her because of her previous acting history to be the face of the moving forward. And I also feel that you just shitted on everything Samuel L. Jackson was doing and the other actors, because the first 3 episodes were promising. They were very, very good. So now you have no conclusion of Maria Hill, so she died for nothing. You have no conclusion really on, I guess, the president starting a new war. But every expectation that we had or excitement for future theories were all kind of like, no, it's just going to end this way and we're going to call it a day.
Yeah, and just to be clear, guys. And just to be clear, guys, we're not saying that because some of our theories didn't come true that now we don't like it because we didn't.
Oh no!
That's not what we're saying. We're saying we didn't.
No theory came true. There's no conclusion to it.
the writing, it just did not make sense. Perfect example. All that radiation, right? And New Skrullos. Are when the people, like when Rhodey and Agent Ross are all being woken up by Gaia at the end, do they all just not breathe that whole time they've been down there? Because Rhodey's been down there since what, Civil War? Seemingly. He should be fucking dead. Because a human being can't breathe in all that radiation. We saw when Gaia was trying to pretend like she was Fury, coughing and stuff like that. How are any of those human beings alive?
And
it doesn't make
I
any
almost
sense.
would have been like, I'm not sure. Was it 2 episodes before when the shootout happened with Gaia and Fury's wife? Like, that was like 2. I would almost been okay if that was the final episode. Like, if that was like the lead off to something else. Like, made that's like a whole epic conclusion, because these last 2 episodes kind of felt blah. Like, it just doesn't feel like I actually got anything out of it.
Yeah, and it wasn't. They didn't give us what was pitched. I mean, to your point, like the first couple of episodes, like we got a lot of that kind of like, ooh, who's who? Oh, this is a spy thriller. This is, this is going to be a thriller. Yeah. Maria Hill dying, and and everything that came with that. But then it turned into just your basic cookie cutter superhero who's got the biggest gun at the end.
And I just don't get it. I just don't get, like, how do you go from a moment that I thought was freaking beautiful artistry with Samuel Jackson, his wife at the table, reading the book and the quote and that big poem. Like, how do I go from that, like, pods ago, saying this is freaking amazing, to now it's like, I want my time back. I wish I didn't even watch it. Like, that's terrible that this went from that to, it's like I just dropped off the top of the hill, like with no parachute. And I'm saying, yeah, they're going to like it anyway because it's Marvel. No, you just ruined it.
Yeah.
Like, this is Nick Fury's coming out party. Like, why would we watch anything with Nick Fury now? Because Samuel Jackson? Yes, I'll still watch it. But as far as supposed to build his origin story, even the actual just moving on from this to the Super Skrulls and everything, like, what are we saying now? Like, we're going to hunt everyone down, they're dead. But there is no one as a Super Skrull besides Gaia now. So no one else has it. What are we doing?
But also, too, like to that point, like, I didn't see how President Ritson, how that makes sense for him to take that stance. I would have thought, and this is just me thinking, and maybe they'll prove me wrong. I would have thought that he would have been the one that would have been a Skrull ally. Then that way, when Thunderbolt Ross runs against him, he can be the wartime president running on that in his campaign, saying, we're gonna, we're tired of all these aliens coming to Earth, fucking shit up. We're gonna start going after them. That would make more sense of why Ritson would lose the next election campaign, and Thunderbolt Ross would be president, and now we get Thunderbolts and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And now we're going into like the whole Dark Reign era of the MCU. Comic book readers, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Dark Reign is like a period in which the Thunderbolt Ross is the Lady Val, that's new head of the CIA, Kingpin, all of these other kind of nefarious characters start taking power in the MCU. Thunderbolt Ross becomes president. Val is the head of the CIA. Kingpin becomes mayor of New York. And I'm thinking of all this stuff. They got Thunderbolts coming. We've got Captain America 4 coming. We've got Daredevil Born Again. Okay, they're going towards this Dark Reign era, right? That makes sense. But if you weren't going to kill off Ritson to make that power vacuum where Thunderbolt Ross can step in, it doesn't make sense for Ritson to have the same message as Thunderbolt Ross would have in this situation. It doesn't make sense to me. And again, maybe they'll prove me wrong in Captain America 4 and Thunderbolts. Maybe they will. I don't know. But right now, looks like shit.
I just don't. It's like, of all the things, I hate when, like, the appetizer's good, but the entree is terrible. I hate that. It's like I'm going to a restaurant, I'm like, yo, I can't wait. I'm like, I can't wait for this. And then it's like why? Why did I?
Makes you feel like a sucker.
Because I really truly believe that they were going to hit this, and like it was going towards, like we said, the domino effect of everything. Because now I have a couple questions for you. what is the Marvels movie about now?
But also, what I loved about pre-Gaia, I have to say now, there were stakes.
Yeah. Who can beat Gaia?
Stakes. Who can beat Gaia? No one can beat Gaia. If you have a problem, call Gaia. Problems handled.
Well, you're saying Wanda can, but I'm saying like, what's the point? Like, what's the point right now?
But Wanda is presumably dead.
Yes. So what's going on?
Like,
what are we doing?
It doesn't. It just to
and then
make
you give her to another side. She's not on the American side anymore. She's on the Russian side. So you go over that with that too.
Well, UK.
I'm sorry, Russia. I'm UK side. Like, what are we doing?
And if this is some kind of like wink to like Excalibur and trying to do like Captain Britain one day or something like that, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not interested. I don't care. I don't care about Excalibur right now. I don't care about Excalibur right now because you've allowed Gaia to put the game in God mode. Where are the stakes? If another Thanos level threat comes across, like Thanos was terrifying because he was out here giving the Avengers work. No one can do that to Gaia now.
And if I'm correct, Hulk DNA was also a part of this. Yes. So you have Hulk, Thanos. So even if you do World War Hulk, there has to be some kind of like side effect to this. Like there has to be something we're missing. I don't
like for her to have all this power in her, like she's like slowly dying or something. Because otherwise,
something you have Valkyrie in this.
What are we doing? Yeah,
you have every single person that's like OP in one character. There has to be some kind of side effect moving forward. And then also as her as an actor, like she got so like much.
And I love Emilia Clarke as an actor.
Yes, she got so much backlash for her Thrones and how Thrones ended, and then you give her this. Like you give her this inside of how the MCU is. You think Game of Thrones fans are bad? Oh my gosh, they are going to obliterate her next actual film, and they make her like some kind of sucker after having all these powers. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, because you can't go back now. Now you can't nerf her.
I don't.
Because now if you nerf her, it's just gonna add to the inconsistency that you guys have been showing us for the last couple of projects that you've had. You know what I mean? Yes. Like I'm gonna be honest, dude. Like I really enjoyed Loki season 1. I'm very skeptical about season 2. If they're still going down this like quality path.
Well,
and the only reason why I give a damn about Loki season 2, let me be 100% clear, is because of Kang. That's the only reason I give a fuck.
Okay, because not only that, because of now, everybody owes him an apology. But first of all, by the way, of how he was treated. But this is my personal opinion, and I'm excited to see
the actor.
Yes.
Oh yeah. We don't have to get into that, but
no, but just put out this. So I'm excited to see the fact that they didn't just tear the whole thing down. So I'm happy to see that.
Right.
Are there parts where he could have popped up that they didn't do it? Maybe they'd be a little cautious, but I wish they were that cautious on every fucking thing, including these fucking shows. I'm sorry cussing now, but this is going to make me mad because you gave me 6 episodes and then the quality and the time production episodes decrease as you go. How does the season finale half the size of episode 2? How?
That makes no sense. I was fully expecting. How? I was fully expecting the season finale to be like an hour long, and they gave us a fucking WandaVision episode.
And it makes me feel like budget. I'm talking about money and how it should be. Disney should have endless money. It makes me really feel like they gave them a cap, and Samuel Jackson's you're going to pay his salary, and then Don Shula's salary, and everyone else there for 6 episodes. Got you because of your cap, but don't shorten the story like this. You just gave me go to episode 3 and then erase the other 3 and then go from there and recreate it, please. Because you had so many other, like, why was the council even made for the Skrull Council? Like, what was that for?
We saw them for all of 5 minutes and then
what was it for? Like, what was the big thing about his sister not agreeing with her and then she walks away? Like, what happens to that storyline? Where we go with that? And also, even with Rhodey, like, I think now the time period, I think it happened after Endgame, not Civil War. Because in Endgame, remember, it was him and Rocket in the water and he had a crawl when he got out of his suit. Maybe he was acting. Maybe it was a Skrull was acting at the time, but I felt like a Skrull would have walked up and left.
Yeah, I feel like when your life is in danger like that,
Yeah, I thought he would have left.
I feel like you can't. I feel like you don't die with the lie at that point. I feel like at some point,
you just.
Like, well, fuck
so I
this.
think Endgame is after the change happened. That's what I think happened.
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot of theories that it was around Civil War, like when he fell out of the sky and hurt himself. That it was during then. I mean, who knows? I guess in Armor Wars we'll find out. But I mean, look, man, and changes have been happening at Disney. Like, I mean, they got rid of Bob Chapek and they brought back Bob Iger, who was the CEO when the MCU was at its apex. So they clearly see something's not going right, and they're bringing back Bob Iger to right the ship again. I mean, I don't disagree with them, but again, man, like I said, the only upcoming thing or things that I really care about right now are the things that are leading towards the next big Avengers tentpole film, which is anything that has to do with Kang. Because, like, I'm gonna be honest, Armor Wars, I don't know now. I don't know now because now that we're going to get Rhodey in Armor Wars, they're going to have to reference Secret Invasion and all of its inconsistencies, because now we're going to have to find out when Rhodey was swapped out for a Skrull. And honestly, at this point, I would just want to move on from Secret Invasion like it never fucking happened.
I'm gonna say this before we get out of here, because I feel like we talked about this longer than it should have been talked about. Damn, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. The only project that I am looking forward to is Moon Knight Season 2, because it has nothing to do with everything that's happening over there.
I forgot Moon Knight existed.
No, I'm saying that's no. But that's just saying Moon Knight is so away from everything else.
Yeah,
I like Moon Knight as a character. I'm looking forward to that season because it doesn't tie in really to anything else. I could care less about everything else. It's my first time saying that about Marvel in a long, long time. I don't care. They can whatever they put out. I will probably. I'm not setting my timer to watch it. I might just watch it. If it come out on Tuesday or Wednesday, I may watch it on Friday or Saturday.
And that's a bad look. That's a bad look for them, because honest. it used to be automatic.
Yeah. I'm more excited about now HBO Max and what pops up there than I am right now for that. Just being truthful.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. And maybe again, I'm completely speculating here. I really hope that the recent events at Disney, like with their projects, doesn't have anything to do with their own arrogance, because this is not the time for y'all to be tapering off.
I think
because DC is about to ramp up. Because let me tell you something: if we go into 2025 and the MCU still doesn't have their shit together, the fans still feel like this is disjointed and the direction is unclear, and there's some good projects, but a lot of really mid projects, and James Gunn hits that out of the fucking park with Superman Legacy, how quickly we forget how fast tables can turn.
I'm gonna say this before we leave, bro. I think I could, hopefully the internet was wrong when I read this, but I could have swore it said they just green-lighted season 2 of She-Hulk.
I really hope that's not true. And if it is true, I really hope Bob Iger comes in and he's just like, no.
No,
the same thing Zaslav did when he came into Warner Brothers Discovery, and he was just like, no. All these shitty projects, scrap them. But sir, we spent $50 million. I don't give a fuck. Write it off. Put it in the garbage.
I'm just saying, I could have swore I seen that. People comment below, let me know if I saw that. But
please, God, let that not be true.
I'm just letting you know, that tells me, when you mentioned about arrogance, that just tells me right there, because that's like, it's like fanfare for anime. Like anime, people know what that means. That's kind of what this is. It's just fan service. That's exactly what this is.
Like I'm not watching Echo. I don't care.
I'm hearing terrible things about Echo. Terrible.
I don't care. Daredevil Born Again, in there for.
With the yellow suit?
He won't have the yellow suit the whole time. I think they're just going to do that to, like, you know. Okay. Ooh, remember this was in the comic book. which like I don't agree with, because it's just like everything that's in a comic book doesn't need to be. We don't need to see that. You know what I mean? We don't need to see everything that was in the comic book. Yeah, it was in the comic book, but no one wants to see Daredevil running around at night in fucking yellow. No one wants to see that.
I'm gonna tell you how bad it is, bro. We went from having Daredevil, Netflix Daredevil, to the next time we saw Daredevil, he was like dancing and walking down the street with a yellow costume.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about
it. That's the episode in the season that they gave us second season 2. What show?
And again, guys, I apologize. I feel like we're getting off topic, but nothing can be worse than that fucking dance scene in Spider-Man 3. I will never get over that shit. I remember watching that in the theater, and I'm like, how did this make final fucking cut? How did this make final cut?
How did it go?
Now dig on this. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? What am I watching?
That's an edit. That's definitely an edit.
I can't for the life of me. Like, I'm closing my eyes, imagining like all the creators are in like the whatever room they're in, watching the final cut, and they're cutting scenes. We can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. Now we can keep this. Oh, this scene, definitely got to keep this scene.
Yes, but it's all good. Just fans. I hope you guys had a better experience with Secret Invasion than we did. I enjoy the actors that were hired. The writing was not executed. It's not a bash on the creators as an entire whole
whatsoever.
But it's just one of those things where like you feel disappointed.
Yeah. So very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. Like you said, I love the actors. Gravik was great. Gaia was good. Nick Fury as always. I love the actress who played his wife. But
they just ran out of money, it feels like. They just said they ran out of money, or someone came in there and said shut it down in 3 days. That's how it feels. But anyway, until next time, like this is our last Monday, I guess, pod for a minute until we find a new show.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good thing is we don't have to watch another one of these.
As we think so. We think.
Well, I meant Secret Invasion. This is done.
Might be Secret Invasion 2.
I won't be watching. See you guys later.
Peace and love.